sure, man. It's a blessing because it's like taking that millionaire status, etc. Let's just normalize that.
Yes.
Let's just make it normal. We're making that the new standard. You know, because it's possible for everybody, and that's what we're showing people.
Yes, people, welcome back to the Money Strategist podcast. I was messed it up because I'm used to saying property strategist podcast. But
Yeah,
this is the Money Strat podcast.
So what is the Money Strat podcast? Talk to us about that.
Just to explain it quickly. Obviously, we're a property strategist. Every episode we document our journey and we speak to others that are in property as well. But a lot of people ask us how do I actually raise money for a deposit? How did you guys raise it? How do other people raise it? So this series just to kind of explore different ways to make money, how to save money, and there isn't anybody in the world that's better to get on to talk about this subject, and that's why we've got this legend in the building right now.
Yep.
So introduce yourself, bro. Who's in the building?
Yeah. Is there a man? I'm Jazz Rose.
Come on.
Yeah.
Love it, bro. Yeah. Love it, man. I'm so excited to have you in the building. I feel like I was just saying to you off air that I feel like it was always going to happen. There's certain people that we've seen their profile and seen what they're doing already, and it's just natural that we're going to cross paths. So I'm just glad that we're doing this interview.
Yeah, man.
There's so many overlaps that we could speak about, and we will speak about in this interview.
Yeah.
But I think where I want to start with things is just your journey, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, but just before you start the journey, I would like to say, a while ago, me and Goke, so it was just, we happened to be listening to Learn with Free Shots.
Yeah.
So that's when we first heard you. And obviously I called him afterwards, maybe a day or two after. I was like, hey, there was this guy on Jazz Rose. And he's like, hey, you listen to that too? I was like, yeah. Both of us bought the budget, the money tracker.
Yeah.
Honestly, we haven't used it properly yet, to be honest. But we just knew on that day we need it in our lives, and if we don't have it, then we're doing something wrong.
Boy.
We just knew, let's just have it, and then we'll, just come back to it when we're ready. But on that day, we just knew that this guy's serious and that we need to get our life together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just had to throw that out there.
Yeah, quick story as well, actually, because literally yesterday, I was in Birmingham yesterday, and my tenant came up to me and said, "Oh, you're in property, isn't it? I've seen your TikTok, I've seen your podcast thing." I was like, damn, I don't like the tenants to know, what we're doing. Like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, nice. We started talking, and he was like, you know who's my favorite person in the world, like in terms of entrepreneurship and stuff like that. He was like, this guy called Jazz Rose, and I was like, no way. I'm speaking to him tomorrow, He's like, no way. So yeah, just the way the world was. And last funny coincidence as well. My little cousin's going to uni in Birmingham, and she sent me a link. She was like, she's sending me little properties to see where she wants to live and stuff. Like rooms and stuff, and then she sent me a room, and then I said, okay, this room looks great. And I scrolled at the bottom, and it said live out landlord Jazz Rose. Oh, it says Jazz, as in you. It's one of your properties.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's just so many things, just felt like it was the right time for you to come through. So
and then can I ask you something? Like when you were doing this, did you know that you would appeal to so many younger people as well, even as young as 16, 17, 18?
Well, what you're sharing with me right now is brand new.
Oh yeah.
Right? So the amazing thing about social media and getting yourself out there is that you never know how you're impacting people.
Yeah.
So it's powerful, man.
Yeah, and that's what comes from just putting yourself out there too, like you said.
Yeah, I think it was so important to get you on because there's so many examples of millionaires and people making a lot of money that, that don't necessarily look like us all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? But having someone that is almost just looks like our brother, that's doing it, that just speaks normal and can kind of give you that bit of knock on the head and that bit of advice, I think is very key. So you play such an important position in the wider culture, I think. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, man, you E-Man, all the other people out there,
man.
all the people that playing their part, don't take it for granted. You know what I'm saying?
For sure, man. It's a blessing because it's like taking that millionaire status, etc. Let's just normalize that.
Yes.
Let's just make it normal. We're making that the new standard.
Yeah.
Because it's possible for everybody.
Facts.
And that's what we're showing people.
Facts. Your mastermind or the course you've done, you got so many people, testimonies and things like that. I want to get into that later, but that's another part of it that, that I love as well. Because it's like, you've got it and you're saying, you know what? Nah, everyone can have it. Like everyone let it be accessible for everyone, basically. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's really good.
And also, just to add as well, I like the way that you do it because obviously, I think a lot of the reason why people are in certain situations or they kind of stay there is like a mindset thing. And what you do is all you do is just introduce a bit of doubt to what we believe. Like, should I be?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
No, like in a good way. Like, let's say you're working a 9 to 5 and you're miserable, but you think that's the only way. You'll like make us think, is that the only way?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll bring that little ray of hope, like, hey, I've been thinking this way, but should I be thinking that way? Is there a better way to think? Is there a better way to live? Do you know what I mean? So you just give us that little doubt where it's like, hey, there's actually better out there. Do you know what I mean? And it makes you think, but it's like a reprogramming of your mind. Do you know what I'm saying?
And that's one of the things that I love about the way that I teach and the way that I educate people is that it's about the other person coming up with the insights. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not about me saying, okay, you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Although that's there, it's about you actually transforming your mindset from within, because once you transform from within, then you'll never be without.
There you go. You see, you're already dropping gems.
Have you seen the one he did about Rolexes the other day?
No. Tell me.
He's given I love the way you do your content, by the way, but he just basically done an example of like someone saying, oh yeah, I just bought a new Rolex. And you know, sometimes people buy Rolexes and act like they did it for like investment purposes. But really and truly, you just wanted to stand on the man.
Yeah.
So basically, you're comparing that, and he's saying, so what? I think you were comparing like to that to like, a house, and basically saying like, did you pay for that using the house? Or I think you made a comparison to a house anyway, and it was just sort of like, just made you think like, oh, Ross, I really spent the money here where I could just...
That is it. It just makes you think.
Yeah.
That is it.
Very thought-provoking.
Yeah.
But I wanted to hear your journey. I know you've probably told your journey, you know, on other platforms, but it makes sense to start there because that's where you started.
Yeah.
You know, what was your background in general, like just jazz growing up? And then, you know, what was your introduction to your first business? And, you know, what happened with that and stuff like that, story behind that?
Yeah, sure, man. I grew up in Harlesden. And in a Rasta household, so pure sizzler pumping, and when I realized I was like a really hardworking guy that wanted to be a pro footballer like most young teenagers, etc. And when I realized that wasn't working out, I mean, all right, cool, we need a backup plan. So I started really like paying attention to my books and stuff, and I started teaching other kids how to play football, etc. And one day I remember I'm in my house and I'm like closing contracts with schools now because I'm saying, all right, let's come and do your coaching for your kids and stuff. Closing a big contract on the phone and all I hear is reggae music pumping from downstairs on the speakers. I was like, this ain't cool.
You was in your room and
I was in my room,
He was about to make this sell, you know?
That's it.
just hearing, yo.
That's it. All I had was Budgie Banter or one of them man there, bro. I was like, yo, I need to buy my own house with my own office. So that was a trigger point for me to say, you know what? I need to start investing. I need to make sure I get my own house. I have my office in my house. And then I just started building the business from there. Started that business at 17. Didn't just do football coaching, but we went on to do sports, languages, art, drama across schools. We took that business from £30 a week to £3 million a year over a 10-year period. And we just grew it. I sold that business a couple of years ago and I transitioned that passion for teaching to now teaching entrepreneurs and professionals how to become financially free.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, just a few things that you said in there that just want to pick up on. Like, you said you started as young as 17. I don't think that's normal. So where were you that even made you think, okay, I can start a business? Like,
I started by accident, man. Because I think one of the things that a lot of people miss is that you've got to be curious. You know, you've got to be curious about the world and how you can add an impact to the world. So the way that it started for me was obviously I was training to be a professional footballer. I saw lots of other people. I couldn't find a job in any, like, what was it, Woolworths at the time and all that sort of stuff.
I remember Woolworths.
Yeah, my CV just kept on getting rejected, bro. It was long. So I was actually in a park and I saw some kids playing and I just started helping them out and playing with them and stuff like that. And this girl was watching me and she said, hey, can you coach? Like I run a coaching school over here. Can you come and help me out? I was like, yeah, sure. And that was the start of the journey. And then when I was working for about 5 different companies at the time. And one of the things that I realized was through the skills that I learned in football, I was just determined and I was making sure that whatever I did, I was doing it to the best of my ability. Now, when that girl left, she could have easily just like closed it down or whatever. But she said, you know what, Jazz, I'm going to do some secondary school stuff. If you want to take over this school, like all you need to do is like, in addition to what you're doing now, is just do the leaflets every month. I was like, cool, let's do it. And then I just had to create a name. I created the name and then bang. And then I started to grow that business from there.
And then what was it? What was your main source of getting new business? Was it just referrals, or what was it?
Initially, it was referrals, yeah, because you can imagine at 17, I was at college and then later at university. So I'd finish college or whatever at like 2:00, shoot down to the schools and do the clubs. And then before I'd get to the main school where I was teaching, then I would just go out and pass out flyers, speak to head
Yeah,
teachers.
so it's a lot of
locally,
hard
etc.
work.
Huh?
Yeah, like there's a lot of hard work.
People say it's hard work. I call it focus work. Like where are you? And that's the problem for a lot of people today is they work extremely hard, but they don't focus. They don't focus on where the money's at. So they work extremely hard doing the labor, but do you do the mindset stuff? Do you do the clarity stuff? Do you do the process thinking that's actually going to generate you more wealth?
Yeah. Do you know what? Yeah, my mentor, I have a mentor, and he's a business partner as well. And you know, he gave me advice about 3 months ago, and it was just very subtle. All he said was, "Look, you're a great businessman. You do loads of good stuff, but the only thing I would say about you is that you know you spend a lot of time helping people. But do you focus on the money? Like, do you focus in on the money? Like, do you like if there's 10 things in front of you, do you focus on the 3 things that can you make you the most money in the shortest period of time?"
Yeah.
And his advice to me at that time was even in the last 2-3 months, I've seen it make a change. And when it reminds you a lot of the way you give advice. Like you give very practical mind, not even it's not it's mindset, but it's mind shifting stuff that kind of gets you to focus. I would say like more.
It's so important. Most people go into work and what's the first thing they do when they wake up? They check their email. Worst thing you can do. Now you're just dealing with other people's problems. The first thing that you should be doing every single day is income generating activity. What is the activity that's going to generate me the most income in the shortest amount of time? Focus on that. And if you can, if everybody just did that for an hour every single morning, even 30 minutes, you will make more money than you've ever made before.
Damn. And I realized what happens is that you make the money, and the stuff that you don't worry about as much because more time you worry about money. So now you've got the money, so you're like, okay, well I can deal with that stuff now. Yeah. So it's like if you spend majority of your time focusing on making money, all the other issues become smaller and then more manageable. So yeah,
and that's what it's about. It's about creating that freedom, creating that time for yourself, creating that peace of mind. Because what people don't realize is when you have peace of mind, your creativity is just exponential. It's on a whole new level.
You know what? That is so true. Yeah. That is so true. We
spoke about it the other day. His biggest thing with me now, and we talk about it a lot, is speed.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like focus on doing high quality work quickly. Yes. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And again, focusing on the money. And those conversations with him and with you have been a big shift for me. Do you know what I mean? Because now you wake up and it's not that you lose the quality, you keep the quality, but you do it quickly. You do everything you need to do quickly.
It's like, imagine if you did everything that you needed to do with 100% speed and 100% effectiveness. How effective? I play games. People think I'm crazy, but I literally have days where I just like run up and down the stairs just to like, if I'm like on a task, I'm like, right, run to the room, get it done, right, go downstairs, eat food, run back up. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I'm moving with speed, I'm moving with confidence, I'm moving with effectiveness. And that's the difference that makes a massive difference to your income, your wealth, your peace of mind, and just how you move day to day.
Was that something you did in the first business, you know, the one that you grew from £30 to 3 million? Was that something, was that a key element of it? Like the speed element of it? Like hiring staff?
Like how, actually tell us, how did you grow that to the business that it was before you sold it?
What was the key elements of that?
Leverage. So it was just me leveraging other people. So it initially started out myself, and then once I got hit capacity, I can only be in one place at once. So then I was like to my cousins, to the people that I grew up with, people that I used to play ball with, can you come and do the coaching session? Work with me for a couple of sessions, then go and do it on your own. And then we scaled that from literally being just myself to end up having 150 people educating up to 50,000 kids every single week, man.
So tell us the moment where things change, where you thought, all right, I'm young, there's money coming in that is life-changing right now. Or like, when was that little flip of a switch where it's like, hey, I'm a businessman, this is serious?
That was when I took the business full-time. So I actually took that business full-time when I was 21. And I was in my second year, I was 19 or 21, I don't know. I was in my second year of university. And I started realizing through reading the newspapers, etc., that there was a lot of companies out there that were a lot bigger than my little company at the time. And I was like, I'm doing a much more effective job than them, but they obviously know something that I don't know. They're marketing this stuff. They're educating thousands of kids. They're making millions of pounds. I was like, okay, cool. If they can do it, I can do it. So we had a contract with about 12 schools at the time. And I wrote a letter to every single one of those schools. And I said, look, effectively, we want to work with you full time. Did that. 3 of the schools said yes. That was around 100K revenue straight away. And I knew, because I was like, all right, cool. James, you do that school. John, you do that school. Mark, you do that school. And then I was like, if I don't work, I just sit here and just do nothing. I'm making at least 30 grand profit. So then I quit university and then I took the business full time and then we just scaled it from there.